So what I got here is a keyboard for a Coleco Atom. And a Retro Gamers Club member sent me in their expansion module 3, which plugs into the ColecoVision. It's not working. The ColecoVision side works, but the Atom side is just blank screen. So I got to open it up and tear it apart, but the packaging wasn't too good. These three right here broke off, and this one looks like it was broken in the past and someone tried to glue it. So I'm going to have to dig them out of there. Yeah, you can see. I might have to just get new keys for that one because that one's been melted in. These other two I can pop out. And I have to take those out of there too. I got a box full of these plungers so I can replace them. So we get to do the fun part of taking apart a keyboard, which is actually not too hard. You got six screws on the bottom. I'm going to show you a little trick on taking these keyboards apart when you get in here. Something they don't teach you in wood shop or summer camp or on the street. I happen to look like I'm hot and sweaty. I'm in my new office, and it's the second floor, and I learned last Monday when I moved in the office that it was really hot Monday. I mean, hot as in 90 degrees hot. Then the rest of the week it was nice. And I thought it was just a fluke, but it was 90 degrees again this morning when I came in. So what I believe is downstairs, the main parts of the building I'm in, I believe they shut the power or the heat down real low over the weekends when it's closed. Then it powers back up probably like an hour before I get here, and it runs like a blast furnace. The things are very hot. So after we get those 6 out, we take these 4 out that hold the keyboard in the case. These Atom keyboards are built very sturdy, really nice. Which is surprising, because, is it or is it surprising? It's kind of surprising in a way, because ColecoVision did chintz on a lot of the stuff, but they did not chintz on the keyboard for the Atom. The rest of the stuff, they just said, just send it out the way it is, but I think the keyboard is like, they send it out, have it built by somebody else. What I'm trying to do now is get this LED out. It just slides in there. Just a matter of getting it loose. The wires go in this little hole there. And then we got this down here. This pops out the same thing. You can take a screwdriver, just push down on the side a little bit, and it should pop out. See if it's a styrofoam in here too, because the person who sent it to me did the no-no of shipping computers. Packed it in styrofoam. Well, yeah, you can pack your stuff in styrofoam. Come on, pop out. But wrap the computer in plastic bag or something first. Preferably static, anti-static bag. Because you end up with bits of styrofoam all through everything, and it's a mess. I couldn't even turn on the other one until I vacuumed it out a little bit just to get to it. Or to turn on the console. Now, so I got this out here. What I need to do is, we need to take this all apart back here. And you notice all these little dinky screws everywhere? They are a pain in the you-know-what. Easiest way to do it, take a keyboard, flip it over, set it back down in here, take your screw, or your screws that you just took out, at least 2 of them, if not all 4. And what I'm doing, as you probably can tell, is I am putting these things in. Let me see something here. I couldn't remember. I gotta check something here. It's been a while since I took this apart. I can't remember. Do I want to flip this over? Is the spacebar pressing down? I want to check real quick. I'm wondering if the spacebar is pressing down on the frame. No, okay. I just wanted to make sure that the spacebar wasn't getting pressed in, because I didn't want to pop this back off and have things go flying because they were under pressure. And I couldn't remember, did I flip it, go the other direction or not, but I didn't. Yep, come on, screw. Cross-threading is not allowed. So, like I said, take the 4 screws, put them back in here, holding the keyboard upside down. Come on. I need to give me a magnetic tip for the screwdriver. Make life a lot more easier. So we just went through a really awful weather over the past couple of days. That is now gone, but it really sucked. Can I unscrew? Got two little nuts here. I don't have my screwdriver or my pliers here, but I think I can just use these. Let's see. No, I'm gonna have to go get my pliers. I know I'm using the wrong tools, but I don't want to get up yet. There we go. Actually, no, I gotta get my pliers. I gotta get them. I'll be right back. All right, so I went and got my big old channel locks. Kind of overkill, but they work. You know, it just dawned on me, I haven't even tested this keyboard. So before I take this part any further, I'm going to take this into the other room, plug it into my Atom, and just make sure that this keyboard actually works. Okay, so I went and I took it into the other room and I tested it on my Atom, and she works just good. So now we're back to working on this again here. Like I said, what I did is I removed those here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pop these off. This just slides off. That tab, these tabs may catch here. If they do, take a screwdriver and just bend them up just slightly. Then pull this up into the side. See, these wires are held in place pretty good here with this little rubber grommet. This is a little microprocessor that runs the 6801 that runs the keyboard, and it's held by a membrane. We're going to remove this membrane now. Rock side to side, don't tear until it comes out. Take our little pegs out of here, our standoffs, our spacers, and then take that out. And there's our brains. We put the brains to the side. Now, next thing we need to do is we need to remove these. And again, the pliers are going to come into place here. Begin loosening up the stud, or the, whatchamacallit, the fang stud? No. Whatever it is, we're loosening it up. Big ones in the back, small ones in the front. I had my second camera hooked up over here, and for some reason or other, it's not recognizing the memory card today. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to go top down. We'll go old school. Now what I need to do is I need to remove all of these screws. I believe it's 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, nope, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 21 is the Commodore. This is 16, so I got a small screwdriver here. And most of the time you can get lucky and they come out easy. Sometimes though they don't want to come out, and I gotta take a pair of pliers and put and tighten or turn it with pliers to get it to catch. Those are out. Take this, lift it straight up, like so. Put that to the side. Now you can see here's the membrane. And what these membranes do is when you push on a key, it makes a contact from this top layer, or this layer of the membrane, and the other one on the other side. It presses them together, goes out through the wires there. The little CPU, the 6801, then knows what key to press. Now this is the reason why. See this mass? See how these little things are going to come up? This is why you want this thing securely held in the case. Every one of those little things have to go back in the hole, and you don't want to lose the little rubber cups. And then the fun part is I got to figure out which keys to replace. I've done this before too. Okay, what key am I working on now? I'll find that out real quick. but aren't used. Now, this one right here, we got some pressure on this one key over here. Alright, now I'm going to go find out which keys I have bad. That one. These are the ones I have. I have an arrow key. Alright, so I know which keys I have bad. First up, I got the down arrow. That one's right there. So flip it over. It's this one right here. So I'm going to go in and pull that out. That one's out of the way. Then I have escape and word processor, which is these two up here. Then I have this slash, which is that one. So it's these three in the corner that are bad. So there, those are the ones I'm replacing. Now, like I said, this one has been melted in there. I don't know if I'm going to get that one out. It's been glued and melted. I could try. These I should be able to pop out with a very small screwdriver. Let's take and move this out of the way. I don't want to knock anything flying. You know what? The one key that's being pressed down, that's the lock key. I'm going to take the rubber dome off of that one just so it doesn't get loose. Now let's see if I can pop these out. Okay. Now I'm going to see if I can salvage this one here. Let's just see. Will it come out? She's in there good, so I'm going to have to get a new down arrow key. Alright, so I'm going to pause this, I'm going to break out my boxes, and I'm going to find me a key, and I'm going to find the plungers. Alright, so I found my parts here. I got two different bags of plungers. It appears that they changed their process halfway through. Either originally they had these little rubber O-rings on them for sealing, or spring, I'm not sure. I wouldn't think spring because the rubber dome here would do it. So maybe for sealing it. And then later on they didn't put them on, or vice versa. Originally they didn't have them, and later on they did put them on. They seem to be almost the same thing. The only difference being is that the rubber O-ring ones are always this color. And these ones coming out of the keyboard sometimes are that color, sometimes are white. And as we can see here, these are different in that these have a little ring around the outside of them, which these don't. That's the other difference. Like, I'll take one out of here. I'm going to take one out of the rubber O-ring one. And you see how the O-ring just goes down these two little tabs? This one has two little tabs too, but it has these little plastic ring. I don't know if you can tell the difference. So that's one other thing that's different on them. There may be some other differences. Actually, yeah, I'm seeing some other design differences on them too. So I don't know why one's the other. I have not replaced them like that. I haven't swapped them out. I don't know. Probably you can swap them out. I usually always try to just match it up with the one I took out. So if anybody knows why they have those rubber O-ring ones and some don't, I'd like to know. But for now, I need 4 of these. I'm getting a little low in here, but I got plenty to last me another 10 years. So we have 4 of them there, and I need a down arrow. There's 4 arrows on the keyboard. You got to look at how they lay out. If you look at it, here's a full keyboard here. If you look at it from the side, maybe, see at the down arrow, they slope differently. The down and the up arrow, they all slope the same, but it depends. The down arrow points at the slope, the up arrow points away, and the left and right point to the sides of the slope. So I need to find me a down arrow one that points away from the slope. But before I do that, I'm going to just one more time see if I can get this piece out. Because like I said, I'd like to keep all the same keys together. Yeah, she's in there pretty good with crazy glue. Okay, so we will find us a down arrow in this bag. Let's put these to the side. I do not want to confuse them with the other parts. take my bad parts over here and my down arrow. I don't want to mix them up with here and then like try to figure out where my keys went. So here comes the fun part. And look how lucky we get. Down arrow right there. See, this is why I was saying I was trying to find, I wanted to reuse the same key. See the color difference? The original one actually has a darker candy corn color from aging. But beggars can't be choosers, so to speak. We got the replacement key. We got the replacement plungers. Now we're going to put it back together. Take the keyboard and drop a new plunger in each one of these holes. These are a little difficult to get in sometimes, and sometimes they just drop in. You see how I did that? Hang on. Styrofoam. Did you see that? Get that piece of styrofoam out of there. Sometimes you got to fight these in, other times they just fall in. I don't know what it is. I have sat here like pushing and pushing, and it wouldn't go in, and then I let go of it and it drops. So it's like there's an edge or something. Now that we got them in there, I'm going to put our little rubber keycaps back in place. The nice thing about this is we don't have to clean anything. Yes, I can take this apart and clean it. If you ever have a keyboard that has a bad key, sometimes just taking this membrane, if you look at the membrane, it's 3 pieces. And if you gently pull it apart, you can get it apart and clean in there. You may have to sometimes rebuild the membrane with some conductive ink. You can draw new traces. So here we go. Well, not you. I need you. We are, make sure every dome's in place. Make sure we're putting this on correctly. There is little pegs that stand up that this thing seats in. Like right there. There. Right here. There. Yeah, I thought something moving around. Make sure everybody's nice and flat. None of these things are popped out of their holes. This one's got a little pressure on it because of that key right there. Let's take this, we'll set this here on top of the membrane again. Then we need to put in the 16 screws. Okay, now what I'm going to do before I do any more of these is I'm just going to tap it like that just to make sure that all the little rubber domes seat correctly before I tighten them up. I don't want to pinch them between the membrane and the keyboard case and the back. Alright, now that's in there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our control board, set it back on here, and I need to reinsert the membrane. Now, unlike the controller, I can't really put a piece of cardboard in it to help me. But this does have a reinforcement here, so it's not going to fold as much. So I should get lucky and be able to slide it in. Yeah, like that. There we go. Then little spacers. Big spacers on the big pegs. Small spacers on the small pegs. The reason I'm not removing this RF shield here is because it's actually attached with solder to the ground. Now these right here, I'm going to press this down like so, just to make them hold tighter. Now watch, when I push it in, it will lock it in. I guess Coleco decided they could save themselves 1 or 2 nuts per keyboard. What did that work out to? Maybe a penny a day they saved? I don't know why they did that, but in their wisdom, they did that. Coleco seemed to be penny wise and pound foolish. They would spend a lot of money on some things and then dirt cheap on other things. Why? I don't know. Anybody has an answer for that? I'd like to know. You know what? All the people that worked in the Coleco factory in Amsterdam, New York, and worked on the Adams, you would think, besides Howard, and I think Philip is the other one too, you would think there'd be dozens of these people out there that we could ask them why. All these people in management, where did they go? Where did all these people that worked on the ColecoVision, where did they disappear to? On the ColecoVision and the Coleco Adam, where did they go? I mean, heck, you see these people that worked on the Apple and the Commodore, they're like all over Facebook, like, yeah, I worked on the Apple, I worked on the Commodore. Where did these people go that worked on the Coleco Adam? Yeah, I know it wasn't a big system and it wasn't around for a long time, but it was a system. It was a good system designed by a very well-known, reputable company who had a very popular video game system, the ColecoVision. So you would think that there would be somebody. See, now we have these plungers there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this. Well, let's put this back in here first because this is the harder one. We take this and slide this in here. Like so. Lock it in. This goes into the little hole here with the wires obviously going down the slots. And then we have the keyboard goes right here. And as you can see down in here, there are membrane contacts for those 2 little holes. But the 6801 CPU that runs this does not recognize them and doesn't translate them into characters. So even, I have a keyboard where I put keys on the stuff and press it. It just doesn't go to back to the Atom. The Atom doesn't get any response from it. Because the 6801 is not doing it. Now, 6801s can be programmed. Well, you can program a little 2K ROM chip and replace it. So I guess you could, because the source code exists for the 6801 keyboard handler, you could make a new ROM that recognizes those 2 keys. And look at this, we got a mess with it. I'm just noticing right now the spacebar is not hooked up correctly. So let's fix that too. Again, broken keys, this thing getting banged up like this. This is bad shipping. And not to be harping on it, but if you're going to ship something, you need to learn how to ship something. You know what I mean? Don't just throw it in there and think that a few pieces of styrofoam is going to keep your very expensive and rare computer system safe. Yeah, that's back on there. Key on. It's pretty close to the same color. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know. Wild card right there. Slash and pipe there. Escape and word processor there. Press the rest of them down. Get a good seat. Keyboard cover. Flip it over. And there we go. All back to life. Candy corn and everything. This keyboard was retrobraided 5 years ago. And this is a lot closer to the color it should be, obviously. But yeah, the atoms like to change color over time. And sometimes they do add a sequence. You get a couple that are dark and the rest of them are white. She's back to life. Have a great day.